Hello, dear friends. We are entering the intermediate phase of system collapse according to Cliff High. Opinion piece. Clear path. It is done. End of duality. Point of no return. Financial emergency. Ban on nuclear weapons. Let's start. It is done according to the Storm Rider, and nothing will stand in the way of ascension according to Steve Biko. Historian Mike King reveals that the long-running secret operation behind the scenes was already being carried out. In other words, all the underground networks have been dismantled, and every sealed indictment has been quietly presented. He emphasizes that the good guys won years ago. We are simply watching the film unfold to awaken the masses without a civil conflict. Mike explains that while the world was distracted by the prearranged chaos of recent years, the coalition carried out the most sophisticated covert operation in history. The plan was always to let the rogues expose themselves before the hammer fell. The success of the secret operation means there is no great reset, only the great awakening and the golden age. Trust in the divine plan because it is accomplished. Transition. The year 2026 marks the transition to the open phase. Massive revelations and the release of prosperity funds are imminent. Organized events are their last resort to delay an unavoidable storm. The quantum system is tracking every corrupt transaction, ready to return wealth to the people. Tensions are rising, and when a certain level is reached, we can expect the transmissions to be disrupted, according to Steve Biko. Remember what Matthew said: as Earth leaps forward to ever higher planes, nothing low frequency will be able to survive. The black swan is unfolding before our eyes. The economy is collapsing, and a massive shift is coming that will affect everyone. We have reached the point of no return. From the ashes will rise a fair asset-backed system that returns power to the people. Evolution. In the 1960s, UFO observers and contactees were ridiculed, and those of us seeking self-knowledge were criticized, labeled the me-generation, and an economic recession with no jobs was ushered in. People were fighting to find work, and no one had any help to adjust. Young people today who can't find jobs have no idea what happened to us. Then, more recently, the dark side imposed stricter global controls and a dictatorship on a divided and submissive population, preoccupied with wars for scarce work. This will not happen. The Divine Mother has decreed the contrary, according to Steve Biko. In quotes, those in positions where the control and abuse of power have been rampant will not be the platform from which the integration of the various galaxies into the new interdimensional region of space takes place. That is not the plan. If it is not in my plan, then it will not happen. Love will triumph because that has always been my plan. Protection. According to Atmos of Sirius, you will not be involved in a nuclear exchange or war, regardless of perceived threats. Your governments know this edict, yet they still use threats against each other. According to Salusa of Sirius, we are in contact with your leaders, and they have been warned that we will not allow certain behaviors that put them in grave dangers. He adds, there is talk of more wars, but we assure you that this is no longer part of your future. We have informed your governments that nuclear weapons will not be allowed, and we have proven that we keep our word. We are here to guide you into a peaceful era that will allow for the restoration of your planet and the quantum leap into the light. Salusa explains, this is a divine decree that ends your cycle of duality with war eradicated and peace established. For too long, your rights have been taken from you, and the time has come to fully restore them. The old paradigm has become obsolete and no longer requires energy to sustain itself. A new day has begun, and it will blossom in its magnificence with the ascension. So, world leaders know the limits, but they do not stop at them. And yet, the galactic forces surrounding the planet will not allow the dark side to overcome them. We are on the path to ascension, and nothing will be allowed to stand in our way. Middle East. US bombs Har Island, Iran's oil epicenter. Iran threatens to attack US companies. Iran has been without internet for 336 hours. US sends 2,200 Marines to the Middle East and Turkey. Trump proposes an international mission to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Goldman Sachs predicts the closure of the Strait of Hormuz will last 21 days. Iran is considering allowing oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz if trade is conducted in yuan. The US will release 86 million barrels of oil by the end of the next week. Trump questions whether Iran's new supreme leader is alive. Iran no longer has air defenses, according to the Pentagon chief. The US embassy in Baghdad is hit by a drone. A US base in Iraq is replaced after being attacked by pro-Iranian groups. Trump expels Tucker Carlson from the MAGA movement after his criticism of the war. Tucker Carlson alleged that the CIA reads his messages to fabricate a crime against him. A Republican senator apologizes for the massacre at a girls' school in Iran. Reza Pahlavi, son of the last Shah of Iran, was seen in Washington meeting with senior White House officials. Why does the war continue when Trump told the world there is nothing left to attack? Where are the B-2 bombers flying to? Asks Mr. Poole. Asia. North Korea launched 10 ballistic missiles into the Sea of Japan. China's victory against poverty under scrutiny. Millions of Chinese subsist on minimum incomes. Panic buying spreads across India as the war disrupts cooking gas supplies. Economy. The war drives up the price of crude oil by 37%, with a barrel reaching $100. Airline ticket prices soar. A federal judge blocked Trump from investigating the Federal Reserve. JP Morgan and Bank of America are forced to connect to the quantum financial system. Europe. The EU faces an economic and diplomatic shock amid structural change. Sweden seizes another oil tanker suspected of belonging to Russia's dark fleet. Greenland's foreign minister resigns. Trump says Zelensky doesn't want a deal to end the Ukrainian conflict. Greek tanker attacked by an unknown object in the Black Sea. A German police study reveals that nearly half of Muslims under 40 hold Islamist views. Jürgen Habermas, one of Germany's most important philosophers, has died. A British tourist faces jail time in the Emirates for filming Iranian missiles. London buses will be equipped with stab kits. Spain. 8,400 Spaniards have fled the Middle East. The No War chant is heard again in demonstrations across Spain. 2 Spanish NATO fighter jets intercept 2 Russian aircraft near Lithuania. Madrid turns green to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. Actress Gemma Cuervo dies at 91. Americas. Job prospects are rising in Mexico ahead of the World Cup. Mexico faces energy vulnerability if the conflict in the Middle East intensifies. Cuba has been without fuel for 3 months, according to Díaz-Canel. Protests erupt in Cuba against communism. U.S. sanctions on Venezuelan oil and Caracas reopen its energy trade. The FBI will have an office in Ecuador. Colombia among the countries with the highest rates of informal employment. Paraguay supports Taiwan and China wants to change that. Milei wants to privatize a strategic waterway after a failed building process. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.